What's up, Bree Hive? Listen, welcome to Truth Talks. You already know what time it is. It's the show where we tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help us, God, okay? We're going to keep it all the way real. You know we have to debrief everything that happened on election night and talk about the fate of what's in store for our country. So I need everybody right now to head over to Fox Soul if you got the channel on your television. If not, you on the phone already. So go ahead and go to YouTube, search Fox Soul, and click that live tab because we about to come at you live at 8 p.m. And you already know we are talking election denial, how last night election went, and how we left with it, okay? What's left? Grab your truth juice. Get ready for a great show. We want to hear from you, so drop y'all opinions in the comments because I'm going to be talking back with y'all, all right? Get ready. I'm about to go live on the show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo.
What's up, my people? I am Ryan Cameron, radio host and philanthropist, and you're tuned into the best show on TV. It's Truth Talks. So shout out to all the truth tellers who's been rolling with us since day one. And if you're new, well, welcome to the Truth family. Come on in. On this show, we keep it real at all times, and we say what other shows they want to say, but they won't say. So clearly, we have moved into a new chapter with Donald Trump winning the presidential election. We're going to get into that right here so we can get all this process and work through this news together.
Indeed. Family, I'm Willie Moore Jr., and you know me from my radio show, The Willie Moore Jr. Show. The #1 podcast that's moving is called The Love You More Show, and we know this was literally one of the toughest elections of our time. Now that Donald Trump has been elected again, despite being fired up to get him out of office and, you know, away from the politics in 2020, this week we're going to talk through our emotions, what his immunity looks like as a convicted felon, and even people in his camp that we need to be on the lookout for. It's going to be extremely informative.
Listen, y'all, I'm your favorite doc, Dr. Bryant, and although you've seen me on TV and trending on social media, I'm also versed in a lot of many other things. Tonight, we're going to give you our reactions to the election and some key reactions from your favorite celebrities. Most importantly, we want to hear from who? Y'all, the people. Hit us up in the comments. Let us know how you feel, whether you agree or disagree, and tell us about your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you guys.
And hey, truth tellers, you already know I'm Bree Renee, straight from the A, your favorite millennial. And I'm always in line with what's going on with the youthful voices, all the way from the millennials to the Gen Zs. And last night we had an amazing watch party. It was lit downtown in Atlanta at Thrive. So we're going to recap a little bit of that, and we're going to give you guys some tools and tips on what we need to do because honestly, it's our turn to make the change that we want to see in America, for real, for real. We can't even depend on nobody else no more.
That's real.
So let's get it started with what's trending right now in America, all right? We take a look at all things pop culture, the entertainment, but today is obviously a special day.
We just experienced the most consequential election in the world, and it had all of us on the edges of our seats. Now, some of us, if I can be honest, we're heartbroken. And one thing we know that has been very, very clear is both presidential candidates brought their own celebrity endorsements to their voting booth, right? Let's break down some of the celebrities that have endorsed Kamala Harris and what they're saying now.
All right, celebrities we know who supported Kamala Harris are Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Eminem, Megan Thee Stallion, Jennifer Lopez, Cardi B, and more. As you see them on the screen right there, that was a lot of people that stood up for Kamala.
They did, yeah. Some celebrities even took to social media to share their reactions on the election. So here's what some of them had to say. Dr. Wendy Osofo, she is one of the housewives of Potomac. She says, and when black people say we have to be twice as good to get half, which I've been saying, this is exactly what we mean. America, you did not surprise me. You just showed us who you truly are. Rapper Lil Pump, he said they put him in jail, tried to assassinate him, and he's still here and became president. That's a effing warrior, MAGA, which is crazy. A WNBA star, Angel Reese, said, I'm so disappointed in America. Some of you just couldn't selfishly put your pride aside, huh? Yeah, so a lot of stars endorsed Kamala Harris, but it obviously didn't work. Major influencers had reactions to Trump's win last night and seemed to be surprised that their influence didn't quite move the needle. Dr. Brian, I know you've been really strongly opinionated about
that
that.
face.
What do you feel about the influencers not being able to take Kamala over the win?
I feel the total opposite than you, that they didn't want to see a concert, and it shows
There
right
we
here
go.
that people are not voting for Megan Thee Stallion, they're not voting for booty cheeks, they're not voting for rappers, they're not voting for Glorilla. And I like all of these artists. I listen to them. Some of them are my friends, but we're voting for leadership and policy. And anytime you don't give that, people who have a brain are not going to vote for you, just like you left your people hanging when you did not show up at Howard University and come out there with these people who have contributed to your campaign, have supported you, sit out there for hours and voted for you, and were heartbroken over the fact that you weren't in office, but very heartbroken because you didn't show up for them. Instead, you had a black man come up and represent that, hey, Kamala will not be here tonight. That's not leadership. Now, I'm not saying again that I didn't support sis. I'm not saying I didn't support her or vote for her. What I am saying is that's not leadership. So again, paying celebrities and making sure that you have a concert and we don't have policy is not the way to get a vote. And America shows that that is not what works.
But I disagree, because as I was down there with the millennials and the Gen Zs, they said that that is part of the reason that they felt connected to her. So it did help get the black,
But it did work.
help get the younger voters. It just
She
didn't
didn't
help
win.
get whites
She
and
didn't win.
Latinos. It didn't help
She
get
didn't
whites
win.
and Latinos.
Millennials didn't
so
move
maybe
no
she
throttle.
should have did a concert
Millennials,
with
you
Taylor
want no
Swift.
throttle.
Bring it
Millennials,
around.
Millennials, you moved no throttle. Y'all didn't move it. Now, do
They
I
did.
want you
They
to vote?
showed up.
I need you to vote. I need you to keep showing up. But it takes more than a rap concert. And not one of those millennials down there said, yeah, we're voting for Megan Thee Stallion at all. They said they're voting for a black woman who has policies, who they believe in could be a leader.
But
nothing
they
to do with the
also said
concert.
that it showed them that she was a real person that was in touch with the culture, that genuinely cared about that generation. So it did move them to get to the polls, because even the whites down there, the young millennials and Gen Zs that were white, they did vote for her. So it just didn't move the needle with the whites. So maybe if she had a Taylor Swift concert or one of them country singers, maybe it would have moved the needle then.
Well, she did have
Concerts
Taylor Swift
aren't
and Beyonce both endorse her, and they had
Thank you.
571 million followers between the two of them.
There you
At
go.
the end of the day, she got 66 million votes. Joe Biden got, 81 million votes in 2020. So the Republicans did not win the election. The Democrats
At all.
lost the election.
Totally
As a matter
lost.
of fact, Donald Trump only got 71 million votes. This time it got 74 million votes the last time. So all the entertainers and all that stuff did not work. The problem is that they abandoned middle class America and with their agenda and with Tim Walz, and eggs are still $3.82 a dozen. And I like eggs.
You're right about that.
So there's that.
You're right about
I
the
was
eggs
mad
getting
about the
high.
eggs getting that high. So at the end of the day, now we know celebrity endorsements do not work, don't matter, because people walked into that booth, and this is exactly how it went. The white man walked into that booth and he said, God damn it!
Here we go.
Anybody but a black woman.
Here we go.
Donald J. Trump.
Here
And
we
get
go.
my wife to do the same thing.
Yeah.
They pushed that button for Donald, and that's the end of that. Democrats have to stop showing up to a gunfight with a knife.
With the concert. With the concert. I'm going to stand on it with the concert. We need policies.
Moving on.
Unfold your arms and relax. Come on in.
Because
You
y'all,
so-
Bree said she
I'm
moving
so
on. She's over
hurt.
this.
I'm so hurt, and we're gonna get into that when we got a little bit more time. But I really am hurt about the turnout of this. But moving on to
Right.
black men showing Kamala Harris love, because there was a campaign at one point saying that black men weren't voting for her. But obviously, prior to the election, a group of black men had a campaign event at a cafe in Philly, calling it Black Men Huddle Up. So
Listen,
they
y'all.
showed up.
Right, yeah. In attendance was actor Michael Ealy, record industry veteran Kevin Lowes, retired NFL quarterback Rodney Peete, Philadelphia Eagles, my team, defense tackle Thomas Booker, and former BET personality journalist Jeff Johnson.
Now, Jeff Johnson opened up to the crowd, and he shared his thoughts about Kamala Harris running for president, and he said this: I'm tired of lying-ass Democrats, and I'm tired of lying-ass Republicans. Brothers don't trust anybody. I don't need to like a candidate. I just need to know who's going to hurt my family the least.
Wow.
And I trust Kamala Harris more than I trust most Democrats.
Hello?
And something that was very clear in this election. People voted on whoever they felt was going to bring action in their lives, whether it was financial, medical, or social. Reported by CNN that 21% of the black male vote went to Trump, but let's not get it twisted. White women and men and Latino made a difference, and that was the end of the line for the candidacy of Kamala.
That's so wild to me that he could stand up there and be blatantly racist to Latinos or a Latino adjacent community like Puerto Rico, and then to still win the Latino vote. It's like, if y'all not gonna fight for y'all, how y'all want us as black people to fight for brown people?
At the end of the day, it's about the economy. Like, when you cannot afford, I said this a few times, and when you cannot not afford, as Ryan just said, eggs, and you have to choose eggs versus gas, or gas versus hamburger meat, I believe that many people are saying, hey, I don't care what you call me. Can this be a different opportunity? Because under these Bidenomics, right, they didn't get the opportunity to do what they needed to do financially.
When Trump said that he was going to raise the taxes on tariffs of imported goods, why didn't they take that into consideration? Because that trickles down to us as consumers, entrepreneurs, and everybody in between. If we're taxing everything, because we know nothing made in America no more, we taxing everything that's coming in America. Who you think paying for that?
Look, this is the thing. All I'm saying, Bree, the Negro won. The Negro won.
He ain't a Negro.
I'm going to say it again.
He ain't a Negro.
I'm going to say it again.
He might be a thug and a gangster, but he ain't a Negro.
The Negro won. He
He
is now the next president of the United States of America, y'all, whether you like it or not. Now, listen, the media has always had a love affair with Donald Trump. Not me, but the media. There's money in his brand, and the media needs money, right? So his first run against Hillary, it was estimated that he received millions of free advertising just by his antics and publicity stunts. Y'all know he's good for that. Right. Let's keep it real. He did it again this go around, and we are primed and ready for the next 4 years of this on traditional news media. But the answer is, we at True Talks won't just be about daily politics, y'all. Check this out. We're giving you perspectives that will cover our multi-generational collective voices so that we can be the change, because listen, where I do agree with what Bree at is enough is enough.
Now, one of the things that came out that Donald Trump talked about, they asked people, were you better off today than you were 4 years ago? Were you worse off? And 70% of the country said they were either worse or the same. And that resonated with people. People felt like they hadn't done anything that made their lives any better, and that's one of the things that resonated at the poll. So that's right, we got a lot of work to do, but again, you know, Kamala not coming out and leaving those people hanging. They should have brought out Nick Cannon and played Stomp the Yard, because they were just out there at Howard just looking crazy. And it was sad when they were showing some of the people that at the Democratic headquarters where, you know, the Republicans were popping martinis and the Democrats, they were vacuuming.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't nobody in there.
I agree, Ryan. I do feel, and I don't often agree with y'all, but I do agree that she should have showed up, because you are a leader, and at the end of the day, I'm just a person who sees everything through all the way to the end. So win, lose, or draw, you go out there with your chin up, you take that L, and you salute and thank the people that supported you.
That's right. We got more to do, lots of work, and stay tuned, because coming up next, we got more. We're going to dive deeper into last night's election and where we are now, 24 hours into this. We're going to try to talk you off the ledge. You're watching True Talks. We'll be right back.
As we said. Woo, woo, woo.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. Not wondering anymore. Love, your mind.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know wherever you are.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfies. Nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
And we are back on Truth Talks. If you tuned into our live election special last night, you know we like to keep it real when it comes to politics. And most major networks made the unofficial call that President Trump had won just as the last polls closed. And many people woke up to the news that Donald J. Trump is now our 47th president. The first time was a shock. We all woke up. And again, I keep telling people, y'all need to put a bumper sticker saying, don't sleep on Trump, because every time y'all go to sleep, y'all wake up and he be president.
I know I woke up this morning like, well, it happened. Throughout this election cycle, mainstream news hasn't been watching as closely, and younger folks were turning to alternate platforms like the world-famous TikTok. Come on, TikTok. The 170 million American users, many of them took to their phones, weighing in on their election choices and beliefs. I want you to take a look.
For all of those that want to save TikTok in America, vote for Trump. The other side's closing it up. But I'm now a big star on TikTok. We even have TikTok Jack, and we're setting records. We're not doing anything with TikTok, but the other side's going to close it up. So if you like TikTok, go out and vote for Trump.
Such a clown.
The other side is going to close it up. So if you like TikTok,
I'm in a reality show right now.
Hold on. Do you think the candidates should have focused much more energy on TikTok during this election to reach the youth, or find non-traditional ways to get people to the polls? Bree, you know, what were you hearing last night at your watch party? What do you think?
Yeah, I love that we had a watch party full of nothing but Gen Z and millennials. Like, they were lit, they were fired up, and honestly, every single person there was on board for Kamala.
Yeah, y'all were fired up down there.
We were fired up,
You
for real, and I love that because one, it showed that we do care. We were educated, as y'all saw. A lot of people came up and spoke about the policies that they believed in, and that they actually went out and voted. And I think that TikTok, yes, is where a lot of us get our news, because it's less depressing, and you can cut it off when you want. You know what I'm saying?
I can see that.
You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
The traditional news is kind of overwhelming. So yeah, I think that yes, they can tend to TikTok to get more information out. I think staying hip and current is the way to continue to reach the younger generation. I think that's the best way to do it.
Not Megan Thee Stallion?
That helps too, because like they said,
sure.
they did vote because, hey, she seemed relatable. Hey, she seemed like I could hang out with her. You know, we always talk about you got to like the person, you got to like the person. That made millennials and Gen Zs like her.
Maybe if Flo would have came out to, it's 8 p.m. on Friday.
And the polls are closed.
Listen, you know, the dance party with Beyonce was used by both sides. Of course, many people have seen those videos. In fact, it got 6.6 million likes, but it didn't necessarily turn into real votes. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that really worked or not. There was a lot of entertainment, but I don't think there was as much policy as necessary.
I think that did turn into votes for Trump.
Oh,
why do you say that?
I think because it was his voice, it was his sound, and it was him making fun of Kamala. Right. So even though, and I don't think that we thought about it like that, as because I was singing it like dance party with Beyonce. Yeah. It was stuck in my head for a few days. But literally, do we know that's him using media to convince us to vote for him? You know what I mean? So I think it helped his campaign.
Like, well, I think it's time for us face and name recognition for him.
Yeah, and it's conditioning.
Well, I think it's time for us to stop dancing and focus on the issues. One thing about the TikTok that I don't watch is because it does not have a time code. You don't have anything that shows you how long you've been on it, and the next thing you know, you went down a rabbit hole and you watch 8 hours of cat video.
It does. You have to go into your settings and
I'm not
set
doing that.
You
I don't even have the app on my phone because I know for a fact it's too much damn dancing. We got stuff to be worried about.
Stop
dancing.
But
Stop
honestly,
the dancing.
But honestly, Ryan, I have learned more from TikTok than I did in public schools, and I will tell you, it's brought us together.
That's why they're getting rid of the Department of Education.
In public, because it's more real, it's more honest, and you are really connecting with real people. people.
Because y'all on TikTok and not in the
I think
books.
y'all only
That's the
thinking
problem.
about the dancing part.
Yeah, they in
you
TikTok,
only thinking
not in the
about those
books.
parts, but you're not thinking about the life hacks that
What
it's
have you
teaching
learned from TikTok?
So many things.
Give me one thing.
Like home economic stuff, life hacks, even about the presidency. If you go down the right rabbit hole, you'll learn about Trump grandmama, where she from. You'll know everything on, like, it really does educate you. But I gotta move on for sure. 39% of young adults under 30, they do turn to TikTok for their news, but it doesn't often, a lot of people think it doesn't move us to the polls. I disagree. I think it definitely moved a lot of people to vote and understand how important this election was, because most young people are not Googling the policies, but if somebody makes a TikTok about this is the policy that I support or this is the policy that I believe in, then they get behind it.
Can Ryan watch Law and Order on TikTok?
No.
That's why he's not on TikTok.
That's why I'm not watching.
Yeah, that's why
he's
If
not
ain't no
on
true
TikTok.
crime, if it ain't murder and mayhem and they're not dancing to it, I'm not doing it.
I believe right now neither of the candidates are speaking to the generation in a way that that's really going to motivate us. Like, we need jobs. We're buried in college debt. We can't buy homes. It's not the same America it was back in the day.
And Willie, it's not the same America that they promised us as millennials. They told us that if we went to school, got a college degree, we could get a regular job and buy a home. First of all, thank God I bought a home when Obama was in office. But if I hadn't, I would be screwed. My friends are still knee-deep or chest-deep into student loans. They can't afford it. Then you get a job with these degrees that y'all told us was going to get us somewhere, and we don't even pay us a livable wage. Like, it's really crazy. They told us that this was the American dream, and now we can't even afford the dream. We got to stay woke. We can't afford to sleep.
And eggs are still $3.82 a dozen.
Y'all too busy dreaming on TikTok and this.
But you know what?
Y'all need to wake up and do some real shit and really
The real
mobilize
shit is
yourself.
TikTok,
And not looking for just only a job because you got a degree. Go do your thing.
TikTok is paying more than these
Y'all are
these
not
degrees
the
and
victim.
jobs.
Y'all
For
are
the
not the
influencers, you
victim.
mean.
You're not
the regular
victim.
people. These moms are like, I worked a 9 to 5 and now I can afford, I'm making tens of thousands of dollars extra a month on TikTok. TikTok and social media is paying better than real
Influencing
jobs
money
that
makes a
y'all
lot of
made us
money.
get these degrees for.
Well, I got a question. My question is,
What you wanna ask?
we all know there are some deep fakes and fake news, and of course AI. Is the politics of our nation now who can hire the best content creators? I mean, that's what we're seeing right now. You talk about the TikTok and the videos. I mean, they also said that Russia had the fake IDs, and they came in, they had the Haitian man who said he was going to vote multiple times, and it was all a hoax and all a deep fake. I mean, what's real and what's fake?
I mean, that's the scary part.
Ryan, I think it's both and. It's not like this or that. I think you got to have a good social media creator to speak to all generations. But then I think you also have a cabinet that can really give you some really good policy. And so I think, honestly, Donald Trump ran a really, really good promotion. He understood this. The person that they see the most, the person that they hear the most, good or bad, is the one that's going to stay at top of mind. And that's what he used media to do.
Yeah, that's what we talked
Name
about.
and face recognition. That's a second thing to money that wins politics. Name and face recognition. We got to know who you are so we can vote for you. We got to know what your voice sounds like so we can vote for you. We don't have to know who the concert is, but I got to know who Willie Moe is.
Yeah, I think one of the things that came out and was coming out from a lot of pundits today was, Kamala only had 107 days to come up with this campaign. Donald Trump has been going against Biden since the day he took the oath of office. So he had a 4-year head start.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people regardless of how you feel about her policies, she did not really have a fair chance because 107 days to try to get somebody to know you, and she threw everything she could at the wall and it just didn't stick.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing I understand, even though it was 107 days, a lot of Republicans were saying, hey, I didn't know who she was. It wasn't a process for her to get in. I truly believe if she would have had a fair process to go through the different channels to be promoted by the people, I think we would see a different thing with this election, especially if she would have been.
Well, one of the things that came up, what was trending last night on Google, people were asking, did Joe Biden drop out? Meaning there were some people that were so far under the rock, they had no idea that Joe Biden was not still in the race, and they walked into the actual voting booth. This was trending on Google. They walked into the voting booth looking for Joe Biden's name. It was trending on Google that some people were so disconnected from all of this that they walked in like, I'm going to cast my vote for Joe Biden, and they were like, what? Joe Biden is gone?
Should have been on TikTok, Ryan. They would have knew if they had been on TikTok. They would have.
We got more. When we return,
mercy.
we're going to discuss how rigging an election is a bunch of smoke and mirrors. It wasn't Russian interference. It wasn't China. It wasn't AI. It was us. We walked right into that booth and chose a man who's a convicted felon and shown and proved to us who we really are. You don't want to miss it when we come back.
Wow. That's wild, right?
They thought Joe Biden was still on the ballot.
I know you're going through a lot. I wonder if you know that we can get help. Let's see how far we can go. Love, your mind.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
I know you're going through a lot. I wonder if you know that we can get help. Let's see how far we can go. Love, your mind.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie. Nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on, man, let's split a ride home.
And welcome back to True Talks. A lot of black folks in America think their vote doesn't count or it doesn't matter. And rigging an election doesn't look like what you think it might, especially when the black or the immigrant vote doesn't get a chance to be counted. Now, we got to talk about that.
Yeah.
Well, you know, last week the ballot boxes were set on fire in Oregon and Washington. Even yesterday here in ATL in Atlanta, y'all, there were non-credible bomb threats that threatened voters at the polls. But let's get into it. That's crazy.
To be honest, none of that matters when everyday Americans proactively went into that booth and chose Trump. I want to talk about that, Ryan. I want to talk about cold, hard facts. To be honest, this is not an opinion. This is not something that we made up. He's a convicted felon with 36 charges. He's a clear racist and professional fearmonger, dating way back to the Central Park Five and being a racist landlord.
Absolutely.
He's an insurrectionist, which I call a thug, for leading the charge to overthrow our government in 2020 on January the 6th. People literally died. His rallies have caused people to lose their lives in Virginia and other areas all across the country. Again, people died for this man. He has countless sexual harassment lawsuits against him. He's a flat-out fraud and blatant liar in some cases. He's called other countries of color a whole ish hole, right? He surrounds himself with people that call Puerto Ricans trash. He locked up Latino families in literal cages, claiming to protect the border. And that's just a short list of this man's crazy record. We can't even keep up with some of the tweets that have been said and the tyranny on social media, calling women bitches and saying immigrants are eating their pets, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cat. What has happened to America? What has happened to democracy?
You know what, Willie? It's not democracy, it's monocracy, moneyocracy. Okay, this country and everybody who went and voted for him voted thinking of their pockets and only their pockets. They weren't thinking about people. They weren't thinking about women. They weren't thinking about children and immigrants. They were thinking about how this man could possibly financially benefit them. And I don't understand why they think so highly of him financially when he also has been bankrupt. He also never worked really hard for what he had. He was a silver spoon child that was handed millions of dollars. Now, I don't understand it. Why is working class people, even white working class people, think that he could relate or have a back? I don't get it. And it's really sad. Like, I myself, just like other millennials, we woke up in tears, crying. Like, me and my friends was like, dang, how can a rapist be the, how can and he was faced like and convicted. Remember, he had to pay that woman like $90 million.
Well, this is what, a black podcaster summed it up. He said it's a masterclass in white privilege.
Absolutely.
He can't say enough racist things to be a racist.
Absolutely.
He can't commit enough crimes to be a criminal. He can't fail enough times to be a failure. He can't say enough stupid things to be stupid. The idea of him overshadows any reality. The Christian savior who doesn't know the Bible, the adulterer who F's porn stars and steals from charities, is the promise of the protection of whiteness he represents. And I say this, like I said on the earlier show, there were women who were nurses who were gathered around and they were wondering, why are they so supportive of Donald Trump? And they said, he is our white Farrakhan.
But he ran on that. So why are people so surprised? This is not a man who didn't run on everything you just said. So why is anybody, whether they're white, black, or indifferent, surprised about it? This
because
is what he
we
ran
thought
on.
that character actually mattered
But he
somewhere.
showed you he had no character.
We know
so why
that.
are
We know that.
still
But we're saying the
even
people that
surprised about
voted.
that?
Why would you want a leader who has no character, no moral compass?
Okay, let me ask y'all this. I want to hear
America,
y'all's,
make your
each one of y'all's reactions to last night. There were a lot of different opinions, but from your friends, the moment you found out Trump was the president and the feeling, Willie, how did you react?
First and foremost, I have friends on both sides.
Right.
Of course, I
Both
cater,
sides of the aisle.
Like literally, I catered to about 1.7 million people on radio, so I knew how the Willie Moore Jr. show listeners were going to feel. But then I was getting text messages, too big to be rigged. I still love you, bro. It is what it is. What it comes down to, to be honest, I predicted it about 2 weeks ago on this show. I said Trump is going to win because people are ready for something different. And here's the thing. I know that he has done a lot. I went through all of the facts. But here's the thing. When people cannot feed their family, when your stomach is growling, you are looking for something different. Even if the difference is not going to benefit you with your people, 23% of African-American males went into that booth and said, I want to feed my family. And I think that was the motive. I don't think it was about, oh, well, he's going to make it so much better for like all people. It was like, I am thinking about my family. While others thought about other things, most people were looking at their family.
Dr. B?
And it's interesting because, I chewed Kamala's ass out, for not teaching her our black community policy. But, I was rooting for her, to keep it real. So waking up in the morning, just the text messages, including yours, Rye, about like, look who won. I ain't gonna lie, I was a little emotional behind it. I felt some type of way about the entire black community. I felt like it wasn't just Kamala losing. I felt like the empathy for all of us in a way of like, damn, what does that mean? Is this a setback? Is it that they're not ready for us? They're not ready for women in black to be in office, to be in leadership? And then I looked at some of the things she did that I said, black woman or not, I didn't deem a lot of things about her as a leader, straight up. And then I said, okay, well, Trump's in office. What does that mean? Does that mean he's coming into our inner cities with military force? What does that look like for us? And then I just said, you know what? It's new, like you said, Willie, it's change. And I got to embrace it. He's the president now, and I got to figure out how to make his policies not just work for me, but to your point, Bree, work for my family and the entire community that I stand for, which is the black and brown community. So for me, it was like, I'm just ready for the change. I guess, now I'm on the side of, I want to see the change, and I want to see what that change does, and I can't wait to get creative with the change that he brings and do the best that we can with it.
I just hope it's a revenge thing.
Honestly, I cried. Like I said, I literally woke up, I cried. Me and my friends, we were like, this is so sad that you can be this horrible of a person and still everyone vote and elect you to be a representative of our country. Also, I'm terrified. I'm scared for democracy. I'm scared for our educational system. I'm scared for our judicial system. I'm scared because he set up, even the FDA, he set up here and said all of these are systems that he plans to dismantle. He don't even want to teach schools to teach about slavery anymore. And this is America's history. But you know what? I thought about it. Just like y'all said, I tried to play devil's advocate in my mind, and I said, maybe that's what they need. Maybe they need that somebody to come in that look like them, that's for them, to come tear down every system they ever built so America could be rebuilt with some integrity. Because I serve a good God, okay? And I know that what God can do is he can take what the enemy means for bad to flip it and mean for good. So maybe if he burned America down to the ground, maybe somebody with some integrity can get up and rebuild it.
Okay, well, here's...
Get my own damn bill.
Berlisha, here's what I woke up to. I woke up to the fact that, you know, people need to understand that Donald Trump has run for office 3 times. He has beaten women both times. The only time that he has lost has been to a white man. When people walked into that booth, they had to make the decision whether or not they felt they were going to vote for a woman. And I don't care if she was Indian, black, she was still a woman. And at the end of the day, white men look at women as subservient. They don't look at them as equals, and they weren't going to look at her as being an equal. They want you to be beside them, behind them, but definitely not in front of them. And so that's what happened at the end of the day. And people were upset. I felt like a lot of the black people were delusional about the fact that she rolled in on this horse and the fact that she is basically connected to Joe Biden like a Siamese twin, right? It's like 2 donkeys who are connected by the ears.
Absolutely.
The Joe Biden should have gotten out of the election way before that debate, because at that point, we all thought there was no way that we could possibly win. That was probably the worst debate performance in the history of debates. So to me, I felt like if he had excused himself from that and given her a little bit more time, she was fighting an uphill battle. I felt that the fact that at least she was close was admirable, but I don't think she stood a chance.
You know, the hardest thing for anybody to accept is defeat, right? And so last night, I believe when she did not come out, that was just so tough, and it proved everybody who was against her right. And I think you gotta have a strong husband next to you to tell you the facts. You gotta say, baby, you gotta go out there. My question is this: when you have a husband who sit back and he just says, okay, well, yeah, we're just not going to do it. A leader in your home helps the leader who's going out there to do what you're supposed to do.
There was no reason for him not to be on that stage with her today. He should not have been out in the crowd with everybody else waving along with Tim Walz. I would have been next to my wife, and I'd have been holding her hand and been like, yo, we in this together.
And rubbing her back.
She didn't even have to talk.
Yeah.
She wouldn't even have to talk. I said, listen, she's without words, but she's giving you words for the last 107 days. So as a husband, I want to stand up for my wife and say, listen, this was a tough race. I appreciate everybody supporting us, but at the end of the day, we did not win. I would have said something so well to represent my wife.
That's why I want a black husband.
And that's the benefits of a black husband.
Of a black husband.
That's the benefits because she didn't show up. The husband didn't show up. She sent a black man to represent her to say she's not showing up tonight. That tells you the power, and I will always stand 10 toes on this, of black men. Regardless of what the media is, the distorted narrative or the rhetoric, that's the power of a black man, y'all. There you go.
We're just getting started. We'll be back with more on this historical day. I know some of you are feeling tired, frustrated, hopeless, and maybe just, you know, in the words of Willie Moore Jr., flat out
pissed off.
We got a guest coming up that may help you get through this. You're watching True Talks. We're coming right back.
Ooh, child, I am sad.
You are, baby, but you made it.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. You didn't give me my bill with me.
I'm sorry, you did your own.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Greg, come on, man, let's split a ride home.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School, college first-round draft pick during the football season, I would stop eating. But I didn't know I was depressed. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father and as a husband. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal, love your mind.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
And we are back on Truth Talks. Let's continue our deep dive into how we got here. You know, gaslighting by politicians, follow simple yet effective rules. You know, you sow confusion, you deflect, you criticize, you're always right, you're uncompromising, and no accountability.
Oh, wow.
Check out how they've been doing it from this brother.
Home in your party. And if shockingly they stick around, go harder. Ban black books, oppose DEI, attack black history, go all out. And for the handful of black folks who stick around after all of that, they must be unwaveringly loyal.
Wow.
Listen, y'all, well, Donald Trump has done all of that. Gaslighting, lying, manipulation, narcissism, you name it. He's done it, he's got it, he just ain't been diagnosed with it, okay? People are on my social media making comments about feeling hopeless and depressed, you know, but this is the thing, y'all, we gotta stay inspired, we gotta stay fired up, we gotta remember that this is not an impairment, this is just something that happens, and we gotta be able to take these things and kind of roll with them, but allow yourself to sit in what you feel, allow yourself to honor what you feel, and allow yourself to be okay with where you are, and also allow yourself to get out of the victimized mindset, because you can feel a certain way, but at some point you do have to go into the victor. You do have to have a plan of action for yourself that puts you in a better headspace so you can move along with life, because life's, but life will leave you behind.
But honestly, Dr. B, with the way that this went down, it doesn't appear that the truth or criminality mattered at all. Like, how do we encourage people to keep going when we know, or to get through the next 4 years when we know he's exhausting, he's dark and depressing and lawless? Like, the rules just don't matter or apply to this man. And I think that's the part that is disheartening. It's not about being a victim. It's about, like, damn, you really could do, as long as you white and rich, you really could, and male, you could do whatever you want to do in America.
But this is the thing, Brie, what you focus on magnifies. And so if you choose to focus on the fact that he's white and he's privileged and he's X, Y, Z, then hey, that will magnify for you. For me, I choose to focus on, and I want y'all to focus on your privilege. There's a lot of privilege of being black and being woman, even though she didn't win. There's a lot of privilege of being black and being male. And I want you to focus on what those privileges are and how you can contribute to your community, to your household, regardless of who is in office. It's your responsibility to do your one job, and that's to be happy. Create a plan, stick to that, and maintain it.
And then, you know, I understand. Listen, when you invest your time, your energy, a lot of you have invested your money. In fact, I've said on many, many conference calls, and I'm like, yo, like, we're really investing into a candidate. When they don't win, I know that's really, really tough. But the one thing I'm learning at is when there's a president that's sitting as the president, if you are a Christian, I just believe by faith that you are to do your best to pray for them. So today on the show, I decided, like, I know that this is early, but I think this is an opportunity for us as a people to show who we are. Like, are we gonna be like him, be bratty when things don't go our way? Because we're just as bad as our oppressor if we continue to be that type of person. So my question to you guys is, like, even though he won, is there a happy median for African American people to see the good or the silver lining in what we have? Because this is the truth.
I think, you know, the thing about it for me, and your show is named the Willie Moore Jr. Show. My show is Ryan Cameron Uncensored. The thing about having the title above your name is when it goes good, you get all the praise. But when it goes bad, you're the first person to get fired, and they say that's the end of the Willie Moore Jr. Show, that's the end of the Ryan Cameron Uncensored Show. When she knew she was going to lose, she should have come out.
Come on.
made that call.
Yep.
Didn't do what Stacey Abrams did the exact same things when she
Look
lost
where
the
she
governor's
is,
race. She just
unfortunately.
disappeared. It is creating a narrative that, you know, black women are not able to hold the L.
They're not able to regulate their emotion and keep the commitment. A commitment is doing what you said you would do, regardless of what and how you feel. That's what commitment is. And that's not a representation of all women or black women. Some of us are leaders and can regulate our emotions and can come out there and be vulnerable enough to say, listen, and transparent, say, listen, I lost, we lost, I'm feeling some type of way. Let's process this together. That's what leadership looks like.
I do agree that she should have came out, but to answer your question, where do we go from here? I think as blacks, we just realized that this country never really cared about us, still doesn't care about us, don't prioritize us, so we have to prioritize ourselves. Yes. We have to take an individualistic idea and either only think about you and your personal family or only think about you and your personal community at this point. And I honestly feel like we gotta rally together if we wanna see real change in America. Until we come up with our own party, until we rebuild, you know, our black Tulsa real estate and all these type of places, then we won't really see the real impact and change that we're looking for.
Well, who's to blame? In 2020, Americans marched, they protested, they raised record fundraising, they went door to door with our mask on, they fought against the deadly pandemic, they fought against the police brutality, and even flipped red states to blue to get Donald Trump and his regime out of office. Now, it wasn't easy. Now, I spearheaded a bunch of movements on the radio. Yeah. We were all hands on deck as Americans. And let's be honest, if it wasn't that we loved Joe Biden so much, it's that we were tired of Trump.
Absolutely.
And I think it's the total opposite now. People are tired of Bidenomics. I mean, people don't remember what you say. They only remember how you make them feel.
Right.
And so when you are looking at a bank account, the median income for the people who listen to my show is only about $40,000 to $50,000. It's women 35 to about 55. They have 2 children and they got about $300 every month for disposable income. And when that disposable income is gone and you don't have money for childcare, the goal and the vision of somebody who's saying, I do have a plan for childcare, I do have a plan for the economy, I do have a plan, because she was so closely correlated to Joe Biden, I don't feel like she had a fair shot.
I agree with you, and also President Biden's presidency to me was the worst presidency I've ever experienced. He did nothing at all. Now, on to the next. The Democrats had 4 years to develop new faces or even boost candidates like Gavin Newsom, Beto O'Rourke, Stacey Abrams, Pete Buttigieg, anybody, right? They had 4 years to make the pivot, and they didn't. Again, who do we blame?
Well, one of the things that has come out from my discussions with my friends is like, you know, they started with Obama when he was a senator, and they brought him up. The Democrats need to go out and find somebody that's a young gun, young blood. I mean, you saw what Bernie Sanders tweeted today. He was like, they abandoned the principles of the middle class America. And why are you surprised that you abandoned middle class America and they suppose that middle class America abandoned you? So there's got to be somebody else that is out there. To your point, Bree, you know, Dr. Andrew Young is 92 years old. He is still out there campaigning and trying to get people to vote. The problem that we have had as black people is that we are refusing to pass the torch to the next generation. And as I will challenge you, as we've challenged you on this show before, you can sit up here and you can talk about all the things that are going on wrong, but until you decide to do something, you can run for dog catcher, you can run for county commissioner, but you are the representation. Your voice and the millennials is a big, big deal. And so guess what? And if you lose, you lose, but at least you ran. It's almost like I always say about jury duty. Black people are the first ones to try to jump up and run out of jury duty. I guarantee you, when Cinco de Frico starts on May 5th, when Diddy is looking up in that stand and he see those jurors up there, he better hope it's some black people up there because they did not try to get out of jury duty. When Young Thug was entertaining those juries, if it was some black people up there, imagine if you get accused of something that you have nothing to do with.
Wow.
Wouldn't you want some faces up there that look like you? Because a lot of people gonna say, he black, he did it.
Yeah, I agree, Ryan. I do think that we should have more younger, especially black and brown people. But the issue is that y'all don't feel like we know what we talking about. Older people are not gonna vote for a millennial or a younger or even younger as Gen Z. Y'all always sit up here and talk about we don't know politics, we don't know nothing. We all don't like how we campaign. You don't like TikTok. You don't like the concert.
Let me say this. I don't think y'all don't know what you're talking about. What I'm saying is I think the leaders who are leading you are not leading you correctly.
What leaders? What leaders do we have?
Well,
we have no.
right now, y'all don't have a leader in office.
Exactly,
She
and
lost.
y'all are the
She
generation
lost.
that's supposed to be
She
the
lost.
leaders.
You got
She
Megan Thee
lost.
Stallion.
No, y'all, but
Yeah, you got
y'all,
Meg.
but y'all
You got
don't step
Meg.
up to be that
You got
leader or
Meg.
that liaison for the in between. Y'all want to talk about how we do it wrong, but nobody
no,
want
we
to
step up. I step up. We step up.
No,
That's
Bree.
here on this panel.
Bree,
But
no. Yeah, go ahead,
y'all still
sorry.
got to do your research. You guys still need to stop being or not y'all, or what you're saying. Coming from what you're saying, you got to stop being an irresponsible, group of people generation. It's not our job to do everything for you. We're not handing you shit. You have to do your research. You got to vote. You got to show up for yourself. And you got to run the play. And we will support you on it.
Yeah, we are voting, and I think that we even hold ourselves accountable to that as well. Like, I know Waka Flocka, he went viral this week because he told everybody to vote for Trump. We went and fact-checked it and saw that he's been registered to vote and never voted.
He ain't voted since kindergarten.
Exactly, and guess who did that? Millennials on social media. We are holding people to the fire. We are doing our research. We are doing that, but we aren't getting the respect from our elders from that. Y'all not helping us hold us up. Y'all want to say children are the future, but then y'all want to push us down when it's time for we actually.
Okay, let me ask you this: who and how is anybody pushing y'all down, and
I'm
why do
saying
y'all need our
y'all stand up
validation
here.
to do what you have to do for yourself
The
anyway?
the reason why they need the validation, because Martin Luther King was a 20-plus-year-old young man who did not choose the movement. The movement realized that he was a more suitable fit, and he didn't want to do that.
Whose
That was something
validation did he
that
need?
was something that he chose. That was not.
Whose validation
that,
did
that
he
was not.
need?
That was not a validation.
validation?
That was somebody who submitted to the opportunity
There you
that
go.
he can
But
give.
listen, but
so
listen,
they
y'all,
gave
but-
the
but
opportunity.
Willie, but
Passing the torches
who's
was
to
necessary.
blame is the question. Who's to blame?
I don't believe in blaming people.
I'm with you. There's no.
I don't
mindset
do
here.
blame. Leaders don't do blame.
Thank
What a leader does is he says, listen, this is how it is and this is how it should be. We can't blame anybody. Here's the thing. I can say that there's a problem of a transference of power. Just like you said that the OGs, they still out here knocking on doors and still trying to do it. We need to lean on millennials and Gen Zs to say, hey, what's a better way to get here? I believe if you start to get young people at the table along with the wisdom, the Bible talks about that this generation will always have the zeal, but the older men will have the wisdom. So we got to make sure to build that particular bridge.
Yeah, but what should have been done in the past 4 years? I mean, come on. Let's go ahead and go with this. Like, let's be honest, right? This is going down in history as the greatest comeback in politics.
Yeah.
He won states that had not been won since Ronald Reagan. So what did we do wrong, or what did the Democrats do wrong to make him go from 45 to 47? It's very rare that you go out and get your ass kicked and then come back and be like, see, I told you you should have picked me, and then you drag. Wait a minute, you drag. She got drugged. It was a vote race.
Yeah.
He lost. He won the popular vote as well as the electoral vote. So you can say whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
She got vote raced by a convicted felon, by somebody who still has to go and maybe get sentenced to prison. Now, what's it saying? This is what is it saying for Fonnie Willis, who got reelected? Does she want to mess with this man? What is it saying for the judge who has a possibility of sentencing Donald Trump to prison time? Do you want to mess with this man? He has all the power. So what do you believe is going to happen when we come back? Whether you believe that democracy is eroding in America or not, one thing for certain, two things for sure, the election was like no other and has put us all on notice for the next 4 years. So up next, we have a surprise guest from our famous FaceTime. So let's see who our celebrity friends are feeling. And I guarantee you, it won't be Donald Trump.
Dang.
Wow.
It's already over. Yikes. On a bike.
I had something else to say.
I did.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know wherever you are.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on, man, let's put a ride home.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. Not wondering anymore. Love, your mind.
Now, we are back on Truth Talks, and before we do our famous FaceTime, we want to say, where's this next person? I know everybody wanted to kind of weigh in on this, as our next candidate. What's going on with the Bakari Sellers of the world? What's happening? Because, like we did with Obama, it started from a very, very young age. People that had no idea who Barack Obama was.
And then we had 4 years to build people up. And I think we got to do it quickly. I think we need to identify who that person is. Just like Donald Trump, he decided right when the election was over what his campaign was going to look like, and he did what he was supposed to do. I know it's kind of terrible, but you need to take a play out of his book and start January, whatever day, and let's start building people up quick.
I think black people need to have a plan, a strategy, a system.
Quick.
Which is what white people do. They need to say, listen, this is the lineage of voting, the lineage of getting in office. You gonna run, you gonna run, you gonna run, then you next. Yep. Pass the baton. We're gonna all put it into you, and let's not compete because we have a line of offense of how it's going. Do I think it has to be black? Yeah, because y'all know I'm big on running black. I think it has to be black, and I think it has to be running on black, being black, and on black policies. However, you have to include the whole United States of America. I do agree with that. Human rights are important, but we need a black person in office who is going to be the head leader of this country.
I think the issue, I do agree that we do need somebody to run black, but the issue is that we saw in this election that black people are not the only people that can get us in the office. Black women and black men showed up, and the Latinos and the brown people and the white people did not. So we're going to have something that appeals to them as well. But the issue with millennials is we have lost faith in the system. Like I said, y'all sold us these pipe dreams, and now we can't cash in on them. So I think a lot of us don't really believe in the whole democracy.
But wait, really quick, to your point, Bree, of saying that we need more votes than just black votes, that's exactly why I disagreed with you earlier, and I said we do have to have allyship. Allyship is important. Allies get you indoors and get you seats at the table that you don't have. They just need to get their asses up and let us sit down and represent for us and not take that seat.
I think that I do need to hold the L on that. I think we do need to hold the L on that because I bought into it. My generation bought into it. We went to college. We were told we're going to get a degree. We were told that we're going to get a job. We were told that we're going to be able to get a house, and none of those things. And I got to give kudos to your generation. You're the first ones to push back. You're the first ones to push back and say, you know what, we're not believing all this. We know it's a hoax and we know it's an okie doke. So
and
I
my
agree
mother, who ran for public office, who was also a City of Atlanta police officer, she said the same thing. When I graduated college with my degree, I got a 9-to-5 and I worked it for a year and a half. I looked at the cubicles and I said, this is not where I want to be for 40 years. So I went out and charged to do something on my own on social media. And she was like, why you want to do that? You ain't going to make no money. You need to be a lawyer. You need to go do this and do that. And I was like, Ma, I know I can do this. 5, 6, 7 years later, what she say? I'm so proud you didn't listen to me. You went out and did it your way.
I don't think we'll ever get the opportunity, and I'm just being very honest, to have the liberty that we had with Kamala Harris and Barack Obama in our lifetime. I don't think Democrats will build that up anymore.
No, they're not going to get behind.
I don't think they're getting behind anything.
Do you think we will see another woman candidate for president?
I don't think I think it'll be a candidate. I think it'll be the same thing.
Absolutely.
And especially a woman of color, I don't think we'll ever get an opportunity to see it in our lifetime.
Not in our lifetime.
I think so. I think so because I might run in 4 years. So if y'all, I'm just keeping it. This ain't a joke. This is real.
No,
so I was already considering running before. Y'all know I attempted to run for LA mayor, step back so that our current mayor Karen Bass could win. So I wouldn't take her votes, and I might win it. I might run in 4 years, and I'm gonna run and stand on what I said here. I'm gonna run black, and I hope y'all vote for my black ass.
Well, I can't vote for LA, but you damn sure got my vote for president.
Well, to your point, I mean, back in the day,
your VP.
they would all get all of the candidates who were vying for office, and they would go and meet at Pascal Brothers.
Yes.
You know, and they would sit down and they would say, okay, who is the best person to run for office? Who is the person that has the best chance to win? What has to happen now is there's so many egos involved, and there's so many political side stuff going on, and so many, super PAC money, as we had with the MAGA man on last night. He was like, oh, we already got a plan. Now, I asked him, what would you do if Donald Trump lost? Well, we don't have to worry about that no more. But guess what? As we get ready to go into this next couple of years with this Senate race, what's going to happen for, our 2 senators? Because now we've lost control of the House and the Senate with Ossoff and Warnock, who were basically on a ticket to ride. So what's going to happen with them? I guarantee you that the Republicans are somewhere strategizing to have some kind of candidate to take them on.
100%. That's what we're missing. All we're missing is strategy. So when I do it in 4 years, we got to start planning actually January 2025 so we can have a strategy.
Yeah.
Well, it's closing time. We ran out of famous face time. Because these are the famous faces you got right here. These are the famous faces.
Yeah, we needed to discuss strategy. So I think we all rally behind Dr. B. I'm going to be in your cabinet somewhere. I got some policy. I'm going to be the VP.
And
we going to keep it black.
After you win the presidency, make me the ambassador to the Bahamas. I would love to do that.
And our slogan is, your favorite doc?
Yeah,
and Bree Renee, straight from the
I got you.
That's our slogan.
Don't leave me out.
We can.
Willie, what job you want?
I'm just gonna support.
You don't want to be the minister, the minister of defense?
I don't want to do nothing that got to do with no politics.
Minister in the White House.
Yo,
I'm gonna pray from a distance.
We will see you tomorrow for more deep conversations on Truth Talks. This week, we're going to dig into even more, all right? We got another show coming up. Good night.
Good night.